Opening bounce. Going up and contesting the ruck there was Johnson. Early free kick goes away of Mende. The skipper sends it out in the path of Warren. Warren gathers, chips it over the top. Got an option in the pocket who protects it well and takes the mark. Did that pretty well. Barclay pulls the kick to the hot spot. Couple of players getting in the road. Mark not played there to Bruzes, deeming that it was touched. So he moved it on quickly with the switch out wide. Nice kick down the line. Mark not taken there by George. Recovery at ground level. Dished out the hand pass. Kicks close to the boundary line. Good spoil there from Daly. Ball stays in play. Murray slides the hand pass inboard and it's held up. Already some good intensity early from the home side. Jones takes his turn in the ruck, so another little clearance there. Ebbels had his kick smothered. Wandin under pressure there. A little hold on the jumper there on Hines. Play on's the call and it goes over for a throw-in. Trying to escape the clutches there was Bradley. Played okay for them last week. Gets it out to Daly. Daly curls the kick towards a dangerous position. Mark taken. Moved on immediately. And the umpire's paid a 50-metre penalty. Well, Donegan will be marched to the line. Clearly, Daniel Willis thought that he had played on, but obviously you do have to wait for the call from the umpire. As difficult as it is, it does seem counter-intuitive, if that's the right word, that your instinctive reaction is going to be to tackle the player if you think he moves off the line. You're not just going to let him go. But obviously you do have to wait for the call. So Donegan to give them the opener. And he misses. Haven't led in a first quarter for a month, so at least that's that taken care of. One behind Healesville. Wandin yet to score. By extension, haven't led a game in a month, given the way those first quarters have set the tone. So they've looked sharp early. They've done all the attacking. They've won all three clearances. And they land a couple early against a side that's clearly going to have a little bit less firepower with their Centurion not playing in this game. They go to the far side of the ground. They'll cut back into the middle, showing some good pace. A couple of bounces, took on the tackler. Just got the hand pass away, but that was a little bit untidy in the end there from Black. Healesville really attacking hard here, locking it in, and they'll get themselves an opportunity for a stoppage about 50 metres from goal. 3.5 minutes in. The ball has lived in their forward half so far. Good work there by Caden Black this time. Again, the tackle intensity really good as they lock it in. Comes out again. They get another little clearance via Bradley. Good kick forward to Warren. Takes the mark about 45 metres out. Centering kick wasn't great. Just missing a couple of targets at key times as Wandin drive it into the middle of the ground. Murray used the body well and allowed Senior to come in and take the intercept mark. That's a good kick. Releases a teammate here who can cut back inside in Newsom, one of the new faces in the side today. That's clearly a nudge. Umpire let that go on Barclay, picked up by Woods. Woods' kick will be turned over. Daly, another possession for him early. Just blazing away inside 50. Could have made a little bit more of that. So Wandin will switch the kick wide, looking for Todd Garner. And now goes at a long kick down towards centre half forward. Buffeting it away there is Johnson. It's worked up towards attacking 50. Good use of the body there from Jaworski. Bounces it down towards the top of the goal square, but they had coverage there, Healesville. It's fed out towards Frazzetto. Gets the hand pass wide. Long kick down towards our broadcast position and over for a throw in front of the leading player in Plaza, who's pushing forward. Leaned up on the tackle. That one looked like it went a little bit high. Umpire letting both of them go. Like the game of Rutley last week as he gets his head in low over the ball. Pushing through there is Bradley. Gets the hand pass out towards Newsom again. Then Barclay. That's much better use of the ball. Newsom opens up the angle. Can he kick the opener here? Curls it back towards goal. And he's got it there. Good start to the game from Jeremy Newsom. And 1-1-7 Healesville. Wandin yet to score. Good start. Certainly a much better level of intensity than we've seen from them early in their most recent contests. So no Joel Garner, no Aaron Mullett within that Wandin lineup, as we said. But that certainly hasn't been the factor yet. The ball's just lived at one end of the ground. Newsom in at the centre bounce after kicking that last goal. That's about a 45-metre kick out of mid-air. Shared with a wrap around there from Murphy. And now they've got Dobbin here on the broadcast side, back pocket. Goes with the longer of the options. A pretty good kick, actually. Finds a teammate there in Cameron. Good ball to the leading player here in Rouse, who kicked their first 2 goals last week, 2 of the 4 in actual fact for the game. Long inside 50 mark, not quite hauled down there. Good pressure from Sikorsky. Barclay tracks after it in the pocket. Controlled well here by Willis. Now coughed up, lost control of it. They go on the outside of the boot with a hurried kick. And they miss to the left-hand side. 1-2-8. Healesville. Wandin yet to score. 8.25 minutes. Short ball into the pocket. They maintain. Now called to play on. They try to go with a rather ambitious switch. It was a risky kick. The target of that was Beckworth, and it's cut off by Barclay. Again, they try to find a target inside 50, just a little bit offline with some of those. They're probably going to get this again on the exit. Plaza moves it on quickly towards Van Wright. Was close to their best player last week. Sets it up to about 35. Couldn't take the mark. Beckworth there again. Quick kick out. Plaza took the body. Ball goes over the line and will be thrown in. Nice little flick out, close to the line. They'll keep it in play. Driving ball towards a one-on-one. Losing his footing there was Hodgett, and outpointed by Senior, who takes a second really good mark. Kick hugs the line, looking for Kai and Barclay. Now Mende floats the kick to centre half forward. Lovely roving there from Newsom, who's been so good in the early part of the game, and now they hit a target on the lead. And it's Donegan, who had a shot at goal from a little bit closer on this side of the ground via a 15-metre penalty right at the start of the game. The influence of Jeremy Newsom in the early part here has been significant. So Donegan missed his first shot that went left. That one looks better, and he gets it there. Such an important game in terms of the finals race, not just for Healesville, but for a number of other sides. And Healesville off to a flyer, 2-2-14. Wandin no score, 11 minutes in the opening term. Headers suspension and break scoreboard. Should be half-time at Marvel in the AFL. It is Melbourne 6-7-43. West Coast 3-3-21 at this stage. What a start by Healesville. Probably could have kicked a couple more too. They've been a little bit wasteful going inside 50, but right on top. Stark contrast to recent weeks, which is exactly what the doctor ordered. Newsom, who's probably had half a dozen possessions in there at the bounce. Outpointed this time by Leach Hines, but Healesville get the clearance. Trapped at the back there by Willis. Steps through traffic, drives it well to the wing. Now they've got a little bit of overlap run here. Could have gone by hand, decided to drive it towards the leading target in Jaworski. Still got such a potent forward line, even without a couple of those sharpshooters down there. So we'll line them up out on the mark at about 45 metres, pretty much directly in front. Should go very close from here. It's a nice looking kick, just moving out to the left. First score on the board for Wandin, taking nearly 13 minutes. All moved in quickly. Cameron sells a bit of candy, had some options on our broadcast side. Bradley got rid of his opponent, good strength. Gave it to Van Ryde, whose hand pass was smothered. Rosesi goes into the pocket, and it bounces over. In fact, it goes out on the full, so the free kick to be taken here by Murray. Chips it to Van Ryde. Marks plays on, goes to the far side of the grounds. Finds Ebbels, who chips it down the line. So good, patient, steady ball use. Hugs the boundary down there, and it goes over for a throw-in. No arm chop, according to the umpire there. Might have been held without the football. Down there was Hurst. Umpire let that one go. And now it's going to be thrown in. Again, just the attacking side of the wing for Wandin. Getting rid of his opponent there was Leach Hines. Van Ryde gathers. Hand passes into the corridor. Asks a little bit there of Frazzetto. And now a chance for Wandin to pounce. Jaworski gets around one opponent, straightens up and pulls the kick too far. Second behind to the man coming into this game with 20 goals for the season. He and Brodie Atkins with 43 between them. Still both sit amongst the top 10 in the league for goals, but number 1 and number 3... number 1 and number 4 on the list, Mullet by a long way. And Joel Garner absent. Van Wright moves the kick to Senior, who marks it in the back pocket. Newsom, that kick just drifted away from him. He'll go back in after it again. Lays a pretty good tackle on Brzezinski. It comes backwards by hand here towards Coughlin. Good kick to a dangerous position. Atkins was nearly held. Goes back after it, just buffers a couple of opponents out of the way, which created some space. But now Newsom comes back in there again. Gave it towards Rutley, who barreled it forward. Barclay couldn't take possession. Kick ill-directed into the middle of the ground. Bradley, Newsom, then Warren. Off to Mende. Can they find a target? Inside 50. Just had a bit too much on it for Donegan. Burst through the fingers. Willis at the back. Donegan wraps him up in a tackle. And probably a little bit unlucky not to be rewarded for that. And now he has been. I think the non-controlling umpire's come in and given him a nod. He had initially called for the bounce. There's no doubt there was some prior opportunity there. And they can go back and have a shot at goal. So Donegan will line up for a second. It's his third shot. He's kicked 1 goal, 1. Just slowly working his way around the arc. Had a shot from this pocket and pretty much directly in front, and now on the far side, all at about the same distance. Missed the first, kicked the second. So he's now got the set. Missed left, missed right, and one through the middle. 1 goal, 2 for Donegan, 2-3-15. Plays 2 behinds. Long ball down towards the half-back line, went through the hands of Dobbin. Warren might have been clipped over the shoulder. No. Umpire probably slightly blindsided there. 13-point game in the 18th minute. Also tries to guide that down close to the boundary and it goes over. A little bit of holding in the ruck contest. Free kick's going to go the way here of Plaza, taking a turn in the ruck, relieving Jones. Delivers to the pocket. Mende at full tilt, couldn't hang on to the mark. Off hands and will be thrown in. Plaza tried to win it towards Warren. Molino was there for Wandin. Free kick for a hold. Not in possession. So they've got it now on the, it's 45, 50 out from the goal they're defending. Sticking to our broadcast side. A big ruckman there in Leach Hines, outpointed by Senior, who goes at a dangerous kick into the middle of the ground. Getting there is Hurst to help force the intercept. Now Black. Good hard running there from Hines to take the mark. Cuts back inside. Drives it long. They've got a player caught behind there in Jaworski. And the intercept mark taken. Dobbin floats the kick wide. They take the mark. Kicks a little bit more centrally. Bradley couldn't quite hang on. It goes in towards Murray. Hot hand pass. Keeps it in front of himself though. Then soccers it off the ground. Barclay came out, overran it. Left foot kick. Gives an opportunity for Beckwith. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Got some support though. And that's a good ball movement from Wandin to give themselves an opportunity inside 50 or on the edge of from Hodgett. Goes short again. And opportunity number 3 coming up from a position of about 40 metres from goal here from Jaworski, who's kicked 2 behinds. this his most gettable opportunity, although the one on the run he would have been a little bit disappointed with. Comes in and puts it through. Goal number 21 on the season. And their first today as they cut the margin to 7 points, 1-2-8, Healesville 2-3-15. We've entered time on, nearly 21 minutes gone in this, the opening term. Good game of footy unfolding. Plaza goes up unpointed, ruck contest. Did his opponent no favours there, strong tackle. And now the umpire again, the non-controlling umpire has come in and given the nod saying holding the ball, not the umpire on the spot. And it's been advanced inside 50 as well here for Bradley. It's a second penalty they've given away of that nature. First one didn't cost them. The shot missed to the left from Donegan. Bradley been one of their best players over the last couple of weeks in the recent run of slightly indifferent form. Comes in on the approach, looking for their third. It's close and it's good. And they immediately answer. And they push the margin back out again to 13. 3-3-21. Plays 1-2-8. Very important when you're playing a side that's been as dominant as Wandin has been, that you take every chance and you answer wherever possible. Just keep that pressure on. The longer you stay in front, the more the belief can grow. Wandin trying to work this one out of the middle. Plaza quickly onto the boot. And another hold, so that's going to be another free kick. And it gives them a chance. Not easy shots, all long range, but this time Barclay, Kyan Barclay, thumps it and in a quest for distance pulls that kick to the left. And that's out on the full on the way out. So pressure proving to be a telling point at this stage. It's causing them all sorts of issues. Warren receiving the inbound delivery. Had a game a few weeks ago where he kicked all 5 of their goals. Hasn't got amongst it yet. He's had a few important touches inside 50, but this one now, first shot at goal again from long range. Starts it right, hooks it left. And one behind. 3-5-23 to 1-2-8. 24 minutes and change in this first term. Petter's suspension and break scoreboard. 15-point lead to Healesville. If we had access to inside 50 numbers or time in forward half, they'd be well on top in that space. Have left a couple on the table, but no sitters. Just little half chances, as we said. Important to take those. Black under pressure from Jones. Bradley, who kicked their most recent goal, gets the hand pass to Mendy. Back to Bradley. Bradley hugs the left-hand side there and sneaks it in for a behind. 3 goals, 6-24 to 1-2-8. At the 25-minute mark of this opening term. So Wandin in the back pocket. Long, looking for a few one-on-ones further afield down there. You had Piper Mateus involved. So over the line. And thrown in about 80 around from Healesville's goal. Late stages of this first term. Dribbly little kick there from Hines. One back again by Healesville. Enjoying a terrific start to the game. Delivers beautifully towards Donegan. Donegan with a low floating kick finds its way towards Rouse, who takes the mark. A man who probably led their forward line last week. And these are the chances that they have to take. This is a few of those previous shots were probably what you would call 50-50 or less. This one you would think on that percentage spectrum would be a goal you should kick. Directly in front, about 35 metres out to give them some scoreboard reward. Pulls it to the left as well. And that one I'll let off. 3-7 plays 1-2. Plaza goes up, helps to bring it to ground. Murphy was about to take possession, but it was slapped forward in the direction of Molino. Tackle put on here by Venix. And it holds it up on Frazzetto. Beckworth runs straight into a tackle, no prior. Bradley tries to work it towards Newsom. Molino straight into a tackle again and held to him. Newsom got a little tiny hand pass in there. It comes out towards Cameron. Cameron goes inside 50. Good pace from Barclay. Feeds it out towards Warren. If it sits, he's a chance. It doesn't. Brought to ground in a tackle. We'll have a bounce. 28 minutes in the first term. Warren steps through a tackle. Gets the hand pass away to Barclay. Hurried snap towards a hot spot at about 25. Quick snap. But it looked like the siren had sounded before the kick. They did kick the goal. But correct decision from the umpire. The siren had blown. Great first quarter from Healesville. The only knock on it they would suggest is that the 17-point margin could be a couple of goals further advanced of that. Such was the control they did have, but they'd be well pleased with their efforts given what first quarters have looked like of recent times. 3-7-25 to 1-2-8. Goals to Bradley, Donegan and Newsom. And Jaworski, the goal scorer for Wandin. 3-7-25 plays 1-2-8. Petter suspension and break scoreboard for Healesville Greyhounds, Bendigo Bank and all of our major sponsors. We will take a break. Second quarter not that far away. I'll give you some around the ground scores in a moment from both divisions, including those other final shaping contests that are to come. Back in the middle, and free kick in the middle straight away to Wandin. They go up towards centre half forward where it's tied up. So they concede a little bit of territory back towards a couple of their running options. Rosesi was one of those. They launch it forward, cut off though by Murray. Rings it out towards Warren. Didn't get the best of bounces and then he's put on his backside. Atkins, kick partially smothered. Daly. Running options here in Newsom. Now back to Warren, who's recovered quickly. Cuts back inside. Not the cleanest of kicks, but gains some meterage. Black. Feeds the hand pass. Left foot kick is okay. Finds Beckwith. Goes down the line, but Van Wright intercepts. Moves it quickly. Close to the boundary line, and Barclay might have popped a finger there. Copying that one right on the end of the digit. That's never pleasant. Ball thrown back in. Socket out of the air, bouncing down towards half forward. Van Wright sweeps it wider towards Newsom. Newsom's kick down the line is cut off by Venix. Hand pass into some space. Black. Will the advantage be paid at will? Molino goes towards Atkins, the leading target out there. It's brought to ground. Dobbin did a pretty good job. He's fighting for it at the fall. Stepping through Cameron. Goes across his defensive goal. Plaza takes the mark. Pops it short to Bradley. Risky kick in the air there for Bates. Doing a good job there was Hurst. Beckwith turns inboard. Sets it up. One-on-ones there. Great spoil at the back from Daly. Stepping through nicely is Black. Wobbles it down towards the top of the square. Stepping around there. A left foot kick effective. Dobbin and Cameron involved. Up the line looking for Mende out there. It stays in play. Van Wright feeds the hand pass forward. Mende keeps going towards Newsom. Tried to give it in a 1-2. Then lays a strong tackle on Hines. Got the hand pass away, but it was ineffective. Van Wright again down the line. Front on contact, you would think that's going to be a free kick going the way of Charlie Woods. So Wandin ball. Hugging the boundary line through the hands of Daly there. Jaworski, quick give. Snapping towards the pocket. Mark not taken, but they keep it in front of themselves. Coughed up though, Van Wright. Gives the hand pass off towards Senior, running outside defensive 50. Now it comes towards Barclay, whose hand pass was untidy. Goes back after it, puts some body on Atkins. Emerald 2-3-15, Officer 2-2-14, Warri Alec 3-1-19, Monbulk 1-3-9, Upway Tacoma 4-4-28, Gembrook 2 goals. And Alinda Ferny Creek are down on Mount Evelyn. Mount Evelyn 4-1-25, Alinda Ferny Creek 2-4-16. There, Molino, quick snap. That might work out okay. Van Wright didn't get a hand on it. And front position, Atkins. He's kicked 23 goals for the season. If he kicks this, their two leading goal kickers on the ground will be their two leading goal kickers on the season so far that are playing in this game. Obviously, numbers 1 and 2, Mullet and Garner out of the side. Jaworski and Atkins both sit inside the top 10 in the league, though 3rd and 4th respectively for their team, but the leading goal kick is playing today. Atkins directly in front. We saw Healesville miss a couple of these, generally left, and Atkins has done the same thing. Take a look at the other of our divisions as well. Those matches live at the moment. Pakenham 5-6-36, Yarra 1 straight 6, Warburton 4-8-32, Yea 1-2-8, Alexandra 7-6-48, Yarra Junction 3 behinds, and Seville 9-7-61, Powelltown 3-1-19 in a little over a quarter. Ball here with Healesville just backwards of midfield. Murphy did it well. Went to half forward. Here's Donegan again, drifting forward and marking. Third mark inside 50. And a fourth shot at goal. Around the grounds in the AFL, Melbourne 9-8-62. West Coast 5-5-35 to this stage. Shot at goal, drifts across the face. And Donegan has 1 goal, 3 on his afternoon. 3-8-26. Plays 1-3-9. So we see a third penalty of the game of that nature. First one going the way of Wandin. Rosesi sends the kick down towards centre half forward. Hodgett couldn't hang on to the mark. Zigzagging is Daly. Goes across where he's got Murphy in plenty of space. Uses the handball option, which is a tiny bit untidy. They might be forced to go back to where it came. They stop, kick it high, and just almost allowing it to land. All players there. Rutley, one of those who sees it over. It's a little quieter today. A very good game last week. Taking a turn at the ruck is Johnson now. Gallops after it, but Jones, his opposite number, was quite nimble there. Todd Garner ran into the brick wall. Good kick forward and a nice mark. Having a nice game is Donegan. Options in the middle of the ground. Some risk associated with that kick. Molino been close to Wandin's best here. Barrels that to centre half forward. All the numbers at the fall tending to be with Healesville as Jones floats the kick in the Donegan direction again. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Rutley lays the tackle and then gets some support from Donegan. They just escaped now via Black Wandin. Long ball lands about 45 metres from goal. Molino keeps it alive. They can straighten up and go towards goal there via George, but pushing it across the face with the dribble kick. So 2 behinds, plays 1 behind in the 9 minutes of this second quarter so far. 3-8-26 to 1-4-10. Healesville bring it in short to the back pocket. Up the line with that kick. For Plaza down there, it stays alive. They hook it back, Wandin to Willis. Nice kick forward. Finds Rosesi. Short again, and that's a good ball. So Garner was there, goes towards the pocket and turns it over. Healesville setting up very well in defence. Short kick to Bradley. They play on, but they've got themselves under pressure here. Umpire deeming it didn't go far enough as Garner curls it towards goal. It's marked right in the square. Good awareness from Senior to be back on the last line. He's got Barclay as a target or Sikorsky. Kick fell a little short. Good recovery from Sikorsky. Goes towards Donegan. No mark this time. Johnson. Untidy hand pass. Here's Ladner. And kick lands right on the chalk, which prevents the free kick. Van Wright goes close to the line. It's actually kept alive there well by Warren. That's bold play with Mende. Goes towards Bates, who got an important hand on it against 3 opponents and has kept the ball alive. Johnson throwing his head out of there was Molino. Umpire not buying it. Nice mark. Taken down there by Frazzetto. Switching kick finds Murphy. Murphy towards Newsom. To Van Wright. Been a nice player over recent weeks. Last line of defence here, Willis. Goes by hand. Wandin kept this alive. Might be to their detriment, potentially. Frazzetto receives the centering kick. Has only about 3 players on the ground behind him at the moment, so good luck finding a target. He's done that. Now, are they backing themselves to go the trip potentially from out there? Giving themselves opportunity. Went straight back with purpose, thinking that might have had this in him. Thumps it long, drags it near side, doesn't quite make the distance, which means that Healesville still in the fight, and they'll get a stoppage here within about 10 metres of goal. They sweep it away here. Beckwith. Wide kick. Well judged there by Atkins, who runs straight into Mende. Now the crowd suggesting that because he had the ball that it was effectively fair game there. Looks like it's taken the air out of the sails of Atkins, who is in the process of delivering the ball long. It's created this little tussle that you see. Now the umpire figures that the quickest way to resolve that is to move the ball on. So Willis goes inside 50. Can they stand up under this, Healesville? It's going to lift the intensity in the contest. Not at the right end of the ground for Healesville. If they were to give a free kick away, it is dangerous territory. The flying shot towards goal goes across the face there from Hurst. 1-5-11. Van Wright plays on from the kick in. Finds a teammate in the pocket there in Senior. Senior called to play on, goes down the line looking for Plozzo, takes a good strong contested mark. This is more like the Healesville at their best that we've seen at various points of the season. Can they maintain this pressure over 4 quarters and give themselves their best win of the year? Melbourne skipping out by 44 against the Eagles, so I was going to say they've put that to bed, but they've probably got long memories. Jones tries to feed it down in the ruck. Clearance goes the way of Wandin. It's been a goalless term so far from both sides across the 16 minutes. Now Wandin under some fairly intense pressure. Hurst out there. Spinning one way then the other. They go short. Mark not paid. Didn't go the required. They work it inside 50. Hills will bring it to ground, but there's going to be a free kick for a hold in that contest. Short there by Jaworski. Didn't quite hit the target. And it's just not quite clicking or connecting for Wandin when they go inside 50. Just not taking those half chances. They keep this one alive. Jaworski, but only for a moment. Healesville will take it away. Important ball to be won down there. Calls that the mark should have been paid, but the umpire got that one right. Johnson had a bit of an influence since going to the ruck, giving them a bit more around the stoppages than perhaps had in the first quarter where they were well and truly outpointed. Daly goes up looking for Rouse, who came out in a long lead. Certainly stretching the ground. There's no one within about 80 metres of goal at the moment. Plaza to work it down in crucial clearance here in the middle of the park at the 18-minute mark. Tackle pressure good from both sides. 3 behind Wandin this term, 1 behind Healesville. Ground bathed in sunshine. Kind of that finals-like weather, finals-like intensity at the moment. Nice low ball forward there from Senior. Find a target in Rouse just outside 50. Bates it is rather. Pulls the kick savagely away to the left and out of bounds on the full. Willis. Goes down the line. Quickly into an open forward line. It becomes a foot race. They've got 2 players streaking towards goal. They just need the ball to sit. It didn't necessarily, but Atkins can swoop on it and finish it with the goal. It was good work. Screeching inside 50 there by Hodgett to make a contest. Brought the ball to ground. His opponent went to ground as well, which left Atkins as the only one standing. Kept the kick low, and the first goal of the term comes as we hit time on. 2-5-17 plays 3-8-26. Second Wandin draw within a kick before half-time. Or can Healesville answer like they did with the opening goal when they went straight out of the middle and converted? Here's Newsom. Finds Cameron. He goes further down the line, so they've worked it up to the wing position. 21 minutes, second term. Kick doesn't clear the player on the mark. Goes back in after it again. Thumps it inside. Rouse almost hauls in the mark. Did well to control the ball, trying to get up there, and the umpire says high. Well, interesting. The umpire on the spot was going to pay holding the ball. It certainly appeared that way. But he looked further afield, and the umpire signalling over the shoulder. So we've had another free kick from the non-controller, who by no means would have had a better view than the umpire on the spot, who was right there. But if you see high contact, then you have to pay high contact. Rouse had one shot already, missed it in the first term from a similar vantage point. And they get that answer again. So Wandin have only kicked 2 for the game, and both of them have been answered within 90 seconds by Healesville. 4-8-32 to 2-5-17, 22 minutes second term. Great ruck work there from Johnson, climbing high, getting a decent lift and getting blindsided completely. There was Brzezinski. Run down, they go forward on the lead. Into space there is Jones taking a turn forward. A low, wonky kick to the pocket. Actually stays in play. They try to wrench their way clear of that. Bradley squeezes a kick towards goal, and it drifts across to the right. 1-2 for Callum Bradley this afternoon. 4-9-33 plays 2-5-17. Down the middle they go, trying to hack it out of the air. On the way forward there was Murphy. Wandin searching hand pass from Jaworski over the top. Can they steady and get the shot at goal away here? Hodgett bounces it, trickles it towards goal. It tried to work back, but it didn't. Good corralling. 2-6-18 to 4-9-33, 15 points. Van Wright. Hugs the line and finds Daly. Plenty of long options. Jones, one of those in from the side. Making a contest was Leach Hines. Clever knock on there from Wood, who was then held. And that free kick will go his way. Moved it on quickly towards Beckwith, who floated it to the pocket. Stays in play. Jaworski lays the tackle. It doesn't stick. And eventually smothered off hands and over for a throw-in. So they keep it inside their attacking area. Can Healesville deny them a late opportunity. Frazzetto gets the hand pass out. Quick give comes to Van Wright. Wobbly one onto the boot. They're a chance here if it sits for them. Rouse in the middle of the ground. Tries to spin out of the tackle. Just turned back into it. And the siren sounds to end. Good, tight second quarter. 1 goal 4 to Wandin, 1 goal 2 to Healesville in that term. The margin reduces from 17 to 15. Goal kickers for Healesville, Bradley, Donegan, Rouse and Newsom. For Wandin, Jaworski and Atkins have their majors. 26.5 minutes that second quarter went. 15 points is the margin at the main change. Big thank you to all of our major sponsors. A reminder, you can catch the OEFN show Fridays at 5 o'clock via the Facebook page. And if you want your games filmed, be it milestones, finals, women's footy, anything, be in touch with Game Face Vision and check out all the action on the local footyhub.com. We're going to take a break with Healesville looking for their biggest win of the season. They hold a 15-point advantage over the top side, Wandin. 117, Warburton 7:10:52, Yay 1:5:11, Alexandra 12:8:80, Yarra Junction 1:39, and Seville 17:11 113 to Powelltown 3:3:21. We will continue with the action here. Free kick in the middle of the ground to Wandin against Jones. Driving it in the Atkins direction, doesn't get that far. Molino now turns tackler. They force the spillage. It comes out by hand, about 45 metres out. They'll snap it back towards the top of the square. They get a valuable hand on it. Murray tried to concede the behind, and eventually they're going to get a free kick instead as Frazzetto was clipped over the shoulder as he swamped in to gather the loose ball in the back pocket. That's a slightly iffy kick, but Murray had time to get it to Van Wright. Now they can switch again with some degree of risk over towards Senior on the far side of the ground. Broke the tackle well, drew the player, went by hand, found Newsom who thumps it down the line, but it'll come straight back. Mutsars has it, and then encroaching over the mark, they're going to give away a penalty, and this will be advanced down towards centre half forward. Driving it long towards the teeth of goals. Mark is claimed in the square. Now he went to play on, but the whistle was fairly late, so umpire deeming the benefit of the doubt, and Jaworski should kick a second goal here. And does. First multiple goal scorer on the ground for either side. And the margin cuts back to 9 points, 3-6-24. Plays 4-9-33. Very important finish in the context of this second half. They have been able to answer on each occasion that they have been challenged like that, Healesville. They find another one here. So we get things underway in the middle. Healesville maintaining possession but conceding a little bit of territory. Murphy off a step. It's going to come back again. Good set up here from Wandin. Centre half forward, the kick. Holding front position there was Warren, who pushed back into the defensive end. Van Wright mops up the loose ball from that smother. Drives it long down the wing. Again, Donegan is the target, and that's punched well over the fence and will be thrown in as a result. Bouncing it down. Swing Murray led his opponent to the footy. Didn't go out of bounds. And Wandin starting to get a little bit more run now as they straighten up via leading player there in Garner. Now they charge towards goal and go off the ground, and Atkins gets his second. So Jaworski with his second, Atkins with his second, and the margin back to 3 points. Inside 4 minutes in the third term, 4:6:30 to 4:9:33. Now Healesville needing that response. They've led this game for its entirety and under the most pressure they've been under right at this point now. Wandin go off the ground. Shouts of holding the ball, getting there first and sweeping along. Hand pass down there was Murphy. Newsom comes across, gets the body in the way, gets possession. Venix picks it up though. It's close to the boundary and the umpire will come in and say, give it to me. Mende overruns it, taken here by Black. To half forward go Wandin, who are pushing for the lead. Daly has front position, good release, hand pass to Murray. Wobbles the kick forward, plenty of depth on the kick. They've got the numbers too here, Healesville, if they can have the ball sit. Donegan snaps towards the goal square, gets a Shepherd, and it bounces away to the left. He's kicked 1 goal 4 this afternoon. 4 goals 10. Plays 4 goals 6. Wandin go down the middle, finds Johnson. Eventually called to play on. Finding a few more of these targets now. Black. Neat ball. Rosesi wants to move it on. Finds a target there on halfback. Spinning out of that was Hines. A bit more dare in Wandin's play now as they go inside 50. Splits the pack. Good tackle put on down there by Josh Atkins. And we'll have a bounce. Flying shot goes, or flying kick goes across the face. It's trapped here well by Hodgett, whose kick left plenty to be desired. Dragged it well away to the right and out of bounds on the full. Almost had too much time. Goes across to their defensive goal square. Thumping kick out of there from Daly. Gets over the top. Van Wright picks it up. Runs onto the loose ball. Has time to steady. Drive long towards an open forward line. Barclay didn't get the nicest of bounces, which opened the door for Wandin to sweep through. And then they find the target on the way out. 4-point game. 8 minutes into this term. Black having a very good third quarter, and that's an excellent release kick. Finds George through the middle of the ground, and they'll get a shot at goal here for the lead. Excellent ball movement. And when you think about the amount of options they have in front of goal, Woodsy is having a shot here, but Hodgett it is rather, but when you factor in Jaworski and Atkins today, and the fact that they would normally have Mullet and Garner there, and they hit the front. 3 goals inside the first 9 minutes. 5-6-36 plays 4-10-34 as the Premiership favourites flex their muscles. They need the clearance. They need to get things happening for them. Now, Newsom that time down towards centre half forward. Mopped up there by Hurst. As Wandin will go down the line. Effective kick. Just a bit more space opening up for them around the ground. Wood here. Turns, goes inside 50. Great strength. And the mark taken. Front position. And they can line up for another. So Jaworski for a third. And for their fourth in the quarter, it's another one. Three goals, 2 for Jordan Jaworski. 4 straight to 1 behind, 11 minutes in. They kicked just 2 goals in the first half, but just the amount of space that they are creating and what they're opening up around the ground. It's a very different game just at the moment. Healesville, so far in terms of results at other matches, largely going their way. Monbulk down. But it doesn't matter if Healesville don't take care of business themselves here. 8 points down, but still had enough opportunities. They would feel that if they can get that pressure up, that they are still very much in it. Sikorsky out of the middle. They managed to maintain possession. Looked like they were going to cough it up. Now eventually getting in there is Venix. And that'll be a free kick down the ground. They've got to maintain discipline here. If things are indeed turning for them, they've got to go back to those basics that were working so well. Newsom finds a target. Centre half forward, good mark taken. He's got it too far out to score. Finds Sikorsky down there. Goes at a low, flat darting kick that didn't have the carry. Willis takes the mark. Did have a player free, just needed a bit more elevation on the kick. And that one had a little bit too much on it, but Atkins was at the back to mop it up. Kick kind of falls into no man's land to a degree. They tried to wait that hand pass. Healesville do have a 4-on-2 here. They should be able to get this back. Rutley very clever. Murray breaks the tackle, goes to Van Wright. Van Wright kicks off a couple of steps. Caught behind there was Donegan, almost hauled in the mark. Snapping it high as Barclay. It'll land about 25 metres out. They almost pull in the mark. Mende gets the hand pass away. Can they just get room for the shot at goal here? The kick partially smothered. It deflected down to And Wandin numbers at ground level. The quick kick out's going to come back in though. Ebbles has it. Showed a bit too much of the ball there to the opposition, but Newsom recovered well. Slides the kick into the pocket. Stays alive. This is pretty bold from Wandin on the last line of defence. And they've won it back here, Healesville. Eventually it does go over. Short kick out of defence. Finds its way to a target. Hodgett pushing up the ground, goes to the wing. 8-point advantage, 15 minutes in the term. Concedes a bit of territory. Willis spilt the mark, so invited some trouble with that. Hand pass down. Good pressure from Jones to get across and lend a hand in the AFL. All one-way traffic there. Melbourne 20 goals 12, 132 to West Coast 8-6-54. Scramble at the fall of it. Mendy takes it away. Sends Healesville down towards the pocket. On the bounce. Trying to turn back inside. Umpire says no prior. It was relatively close, but... Jones trying to nurse it down. Rouse is in the vicinity. They desperately need to kick the next one. Healesville. Other ideas though, Wandin, as they drive it out in the Atkins direction. Got his opposite number 13, Daly, for company. Atkins almost a throw. It comes out anyway, Daly. Launches the hand pass over the top. Newsom, can he straighten up and go for goal? Straightens up, pushes it across the face. Mark taken just inside the field of play. Finds a target in Rosessi, who then goes to a half-back flank in Hines. High kick up towards the wing, Daly. Couldn't quite pull in the mark. Mendy trying to work it through. Nice hands from Murphy down towards Cameron. Gets it over the top. Newsom, good speed, runs away. Thought about having a shot, unselfishly passed it across. That was well done. Finds Barclay in the pocket. Would have been forgiven for hooking that on the right boot. Instead, measured the short kick. And Barclay now needs to convert. Wandin have been super efficient at the other end in this quarter, kicking 4 from 4. Margin sits at 8 points, 18 minutes in the third term. On the approach. And he's got it. First goal of the second half to Healesville. Keeps them right in touch. 5-10-40 to 6-6-42. 18 and a half minutes. Van Wright comes off the back of the square to receive the hand pass. Got into trouble, but got out of it again. Well supported there from Sikorsky. The hand pass back, teammate caught, and holding it was Ebbels. So Wandin can go forward once again. Punch clear. They take possession in the pocket. Just losing his footing there was Atkins. It comes back here towards Hines. Now Beckwith chips into the pocket. Not a great bounce for the defence. Frazzetto snaps looking for Daly. Again, it's Hurst. Beckwith. Pressure good here from Healesville, but they're maintaining possession, Wandin. Here's Hodgett, back to Hurst. Hurst broke one tackle, was caught, then got the hand pass away on the second. Mende left it behind. Barclay, their last goal scorer, wrenching that hand pass clear. Important little boot in there from Mutsayers. Now he gets his left foot kick up towards Jaworski. Molino's hand pass cut off. Comes out towards the half-back line. Cameron kept it alive for the moment. Newsom had such a good game. Plaza receives the hand pass, and the kick finds the very impressive Donegan. Had he have kicked straight, could have been an even bigger day for him at 1-4. Wandin win it back and drive it into the middle of the ground where Brzezy has it. Wider here towards Garner, the vice-captain. Up towards Black on the lead. And that kick's cut off by Daly. He's had a very nice game, as has this man, Newsom, who gets another possession. Some risk associated with that kick, but Barclay comes off to lend a hand. Hand pass shared back. Newsom cuts through, breaks a couple of tackles. Good kick on the left. Finds Rouse. Drives his long kick to about 35. Mende took the body, kept his feet. They were able to get back there first by George. The umpire is going to come back and pay a free kick here. And the free kick is going to go to Healesville. Didn't necessarily see what that was for. It looked like a pretty standard contest. So it's going to be Mende. Behind the kick to get the lead back, starts it left, stays there, and one behind. One way then the other. Risky kick across. It's a bad turnover. Flying shot at goal. Misses. Little half chance created there. Warren pushing it across. Scores level 5-12-42 to 6-6-42. Another turnover on the way out. This time Daly gets it off here towards Devils, who has a flying shot at goal, and they're doing it incrementally at the moment. 3 behinds in a row. And they lead it 5-13-43 to 6-6-42. But enjoying a good little period of momentum. They don't want to clear this particularly effectively to Wandin. They eventually hold on to the mark, but it's been a risky strategy. 20 nearly 24 minutes into the term. Chip kick, Ladner takes the mark. Goes looking for Johnson. Coming out full-chested at it is Josh Atkins. Finds options in the middle of the ground, Black. Left foot kick is good. Hodgett takes the mark. It's been good on the set shots, hasn't been as efficient on the run, but another chance to give his side the lead late in the third term. Yet another forward option for them, looking for his second goal. And got it. 7-6, 48, 5 straight in the term. Healesville 5, 13, 43. They've kicked 1 goal, 4 in this term, so they've ended up both having 5 shots to this stage. But Wandin, 4 of those 5 goals coming from set shots at about that range. That opportunistic goal in the square kicked by Brody Atkins. Just the 3 goal kickers for them too, a 3, a 2 and a 2, contributing their 7. Quick snap from Rutley, taking a turn on the ball here. Newsom hits it hard, going forward. Left foot centering kick is good. Has the mark been paid? It hasn't. Looked like he'd probably done enough. Umpire deeming that was a half volley. Taken out of here by Bradley. Check side kick to the square is punched through for a rush behind. 5-14 plays 7-6. Kick's effective on the way out. Sayers on the half-back flank. And that will end the third term. 5 straight to 1-5 in that term. Sees Wandin turn for home with a 4-point advantage. 7-6, 48. Healesville 5-14, 44 for Wandin. Jawowski 3. Atkins 2. Hodgett 2 for Healesville. All singles. Barclay, Bradley, Donegan, Rouse and Newsom. So with 1 to play, Wandin lead it by 4 points. Still anyone's game. A very tight contest even within that term. Scoring shots were still 6-5 in favour of Healesville. So with 1 quarter to play, it's a 4-point advantage on the Pettis suspension and break scoreboard, and all of that for Healesville Greyhounds. Monbulk 5-8-38. Upway Tacoma 13-13-91 over Gembrook 4-10-34. And Alinda Fernie Creek have poked back in front of Mount Evelyn 7-8-50 to 6-5-41. Looking at those Div 1 scores as well. Pakenham 15-12, 102 to Yarra Glen 117 as we're underway here. Warburton 11-13-79, Yea 1-8-14. Alexandra 14-9-93 to Yarra Junction 4-4-28. And Seville 22-16, 148 to 5-3-33 as Bradley runs down the wing. Kick partially smothered, deflects inside 50. Mende did well to get rid of his opponent. Backs into a tackle, brought to ground, and we'll have a bounce. Melbourne defeating West Coast by 83 points as well. Johnson in the ruck there. Bouncing that kick down towards the half-back line. Clearly a free kick to Healesville for a hold. He's paid too high. Either of those two options would have been effective. The long ball cut off in the air by Willis. Got better as the game's gone on down there on the last line of defence. Switching across, there's an element of danger in that. Barclay lays the tackle. Hand pass fed back to the top of the square. And a behind conceded. Good pressure, 5-15. Plays 7-6. Last 5 scoring shots for Healesville have been behinds. So they're getting looks, they're getting chances, and they'll get a stoppage again here. That will give them an opportunity to reset. Mende rides the tackle, then gets the hand pass away. Barclay stopped the ball in its tracks, went back after it again, picked up by Black. Thumps it into the middle of the ground. Good mark, well protected here by Jaworski, who's kicked 3 of his side's 7 goals. The ball, half-tunnel ball senior, but did well to go back and put a tackle on to tie it up. It's pushed over the line. Boundary throw in just outside 50, Wandin's attacking ends. 3 minutes in the term. Beckwith. Ball to be thrown in. Bouncing it up towards the wing position, one back again. Nice low hand pass there from Bruzesi. They hit it up to about 45. Van Wright spikes it out of the air. Hand pass comes back towards Garner. Garner's low dart is a beauty. And this man proving to be extremely influential. He's done his job across half forward, set up probably 3 or 4 scores since half time. And Macaulay Beckwith could become his side's 4th goal scorer and get the all-important first of the last term. And draws it back from right to left. And they get their 8th, 8-6-54 to 5-15-45. Back in the middle, Bates having an opportunity in the ruck. Free kick to Monbog for a hold. Another Monbog ball. Taken here by Willis, goes on the left. Kick had a bit too much on it. Desperation in defence. Rosetto feeds the hand pass back. Atkins outside of the boot, top of the square. They rush it through. First blemish of the second half for Wandin, who had kicked 6 straight prior to that. Moving it in quickly. In an arm wrestle like this, they do have to kick the next one. Newsom. And that'll be a free kick. That was a bit crude. Just cannoning into Cameron down there. Worked up into the middle of the grounds. Wandin win it back in the contest. Kick goes wide, punched. Gains a few metres. Taken off the back there by Venix, snapping it down towards half forward. Good tackle put on there by Hurst. Unlucky not to be rewarded for that. They slide the hand pass in, hooking right foot kick in the Atkins direction. Just trying to get the hand pass away down there was Ebbles. The kicks work forward. It's going to come back, I assume, as a throw. Excuse me, going the way of Wandin down there. Short into the pocket, just the required distance. And it gives them another opportunity. For the biggest lead of the game for Wandin, if they can convert it. And that really has been the difference. Set shots, they've kicked 6 goals straight since half-time. Healesville in that first quarter and again in the third when they had opportunities, just haven't been able to take them. And it leaves them in a tricky spot here at a 16-point margin. 9-7-61. Plays 5-15-45. Healesville needing to kick 3 on the bounce if they are to get the job done from here. Comes off the back of the square. Newsom quickly onto his right boot. Down towards our broadcast position. They meet it hard. And that looked a little bit of an unusual decision. Newsom trying to clear some traffic. Venix gets the free kick. Down the line with the kick. Molina goes straight at the line. Hard for that to have been anything other than that, but Walls work back in, calls for a jumper hold there. They fight around with it. Hurst with an important touch to Black. Snaps it towards a one-on-one. Van Wright stood tall, threw it onto the right boot. Wobbled it down towards a contest involving Jones. It was punched away from them, close to the boundary, and it goes over on the full. Bates with the full-length dive. Couldn't muster a way to keep that one alive. It's taken here by Piper Mateus. Good mark taken by Senior. There's no whistle there, but I think everyone agreed that it was a mark. Barclay, who caught one on the end of the finger earlier in the game, that looked a little bit proppy. Sweeping through there is Newsom. Just gets the hand pass back. Willis breaks one tackle. Goes towards Black. Now the left foot kick squeezing down towards half-forward. Barclay made the contest. Bradley crashes through. Gets boot to ball. Didn't have anything to kick to. It floats into space and the mark taken by Black under little pressure there. So we're going to see another penalty, probably the fourth such that we've seen in the game so far. A couple early that resulted in chances to Healesville, who are going to win possession here at halfback and obviously need to roll the dice. Comes out towards Rutley, who takes the mark. Kicks to a 1-on-2, and the numbers prevail. Willis had an excellent game, although that kick has some risk associated with it. Newsom speeds onto the loose ball, feeds it back to Daly. Left foot kick down towards Barclay, who was caught behind in the 1-on-1, but brought it to ground. Now might get possession first. Brought down in the tackle. So we are at the 12.5-minute mark of the final quarter. Boundary throw in under the scoreboard, about halfway through the term, 16 points the margin. Cameron got the hand pass out, didn't clear traffic though. Hebbles caught high. Towards the square, and I reckon it's got there, has it? No, touched right on the line. Goes down the line. Certainly going to be feeling the warmer conditions. Not hot by any means, but compared to typical winter footy. Van Wright goes with his right boot into the middle of the ground. Ebels finds a target in some space. They can run towards 55. Thumping kick towards goal is good. And the game remains alive. 6:16:52 to 9:7:61. Newsom with a second. So 2-kick game as we tighten up again. Clearance goes the way of Wandin. Rutley should get there first if it sits. It does. Clever kick. Mende copped a nasty bounce. Conceding a bit of territory there is Hines. Goes to Johnson. Finds a target in Atkins pushing up. Inside 50. One more you'd think might be enough as Ladner brought to ground. Based on length of time across the first few quarters in this game, 26 minutes is about the mark, so 10 or so of actual time left towards the line and over. A couple of around the ground scores. Gold Coast 25, Richmond zip, Essendon 139, Sydney 128. That standalone blockbuster tonight, Collingwood and Brisbane. Important clearance to be won. Bradley paddled the ball along, avoided the tackle, gave it to Senior, who was under the pump. Hand pass to Barclay, didn't quite handle it cleanly. Won back by Hurst. Handball to the middle, gang tackle there. Van Wright and Sikorsky. Crucial ball to be won here, brought to ground. Mende in the middle. Jones. Now Barclay tackled 17.5 minutes, 9-point game. Blood rule will see a forced Healesville change. Barclay will come from the field, kick the goal in the third term. Bradley and Van Wright there. Van Wright can't keep it alive. Bradley went straight into a tackle. Healesville need to find a way to open it up, take some risks. Black. Now Garner, run down, incorrect disposal. I'll take the advantage here. Van Wright's hand pass was a little bit hot there for Cameron. Black thumps it down towards the forward pocket, kept alive. Boundary throw wouldn't be a bad result for Wandin, and they get it. Kept in play for the moment. Black, right foot kick, Van Wright back in the hole, takes the mark. Goes to Senior. Can they open up the corridor here? They'll pull the kick towards Newsom. Barclay. Goes with the short option. Can they recover quicker? Walking it down into space here is Piper Mateus. Just got the hand pass away. Garner gave it off to Willis through the middle of the grounds. Kick smothered. They've got the numbers here. Healesville, if they can use their voices. Barclay breaks the tackle. Quick kick over the shoulder. Can they haul in a mark here? And they'll get a free kick. Bates. Cramping as he'll go back to kick it. There's probably 5 or 6 minutes left after this kick to draw them within 3 points.
Nice and easy, Pop.
There aren't going to be many chances. I feel this has to go through. Free kick for interference in the marking contest. Is this the little window they need? On the approach, 35, 40 metres out. Hangs the kick well out to the left. And it doesn't register. Very quickly, Wandin get it up to the half-back flank. Atkins drives the long kick. Long kick goes down the line. Create a potential stoppage here, about 55, 60 metres from goal. Can they muster something here? So the umpires found a free kick in there, which will go to Wandin. Will give them some relief, and they'll get marched 15 metres down the field here at the 22-minute mark. Maintaining possession, although that kick opened the door for Healesville to win it back. Newsom did well to spin, concedes a bit of territory. Still need to roll the dice. Back to Newsom. Can they get the one they need and then be clean out of the middle? Not quite season on the line stuff, but that type of territory. Warren marks in the pocket. Not an easy kick, but should get a bit of a look at the face of goal here if he can open up the angle. He's a sharp shooter as a general. Looks like he's shaping for the drop punt rather than the round the body shot. Well, he's a fair distance, probably right on the edge of that. Do you snap or do you kick through the ball? Huge kick in the context of the game. And it's a goal. Nails it at the 23.5-minute mark from just up against the boundary. And it keeps them in touch. 3 points the margin. Just as we say, that little half sniff that gives you some hope. Jones won the tap, but it was Wandin that won the clearance. Healesville get it back, though. Frazzetto, can he take the mark? Not quite. Van Wright used his body well just to shove him out of the way. Gave us it off here towards Newsom. And they hit the targets. Barclay had it knocked away. It stays in play. Ladner goes to half forward, finds his teammates. And that is Hodgett, who's had a good second half. Chips it, showed a bit of it to Van Wright, took the body, but the mark was held. And it's the time off the clock that's precious here as well. 25 minutes, 7:16, plays 9-7. Jaworski, it would take an extraordinary kick from there. So he's going to pass it. And Atkins gets a better look. A goal would shut the gate. If he misses, he gives the ball back to Healesville, who would need to go coast to coast, and you would think we'd be looking at maybe a minute. .45 metres out, opens up the angle. It's going across the face. It's marked by Healesville. They've got to go up the line. They'll go to Van Wright. Now, where does the next kick go? Thumps it in the direction there of Barclay. Couldn't hang on to the mark. Comes back towards Garner. Sweeps the hand pass here towards Willis. Straightens up, goes to the pocket. Mark not taken. Ladner goes off the ground. And the siren sounds. Wandin hang on and win it by 3 points. Kicked 7 goals, 1 in the second half to 3 goals, 7. Healesville would feel that they led by 15 points at halftime, then had 10 shots to 8 in the second half. So they actually had more opportunities and just couldn't convert. Wandin's ability to kick basically all of their set shot chances in that third quarter. There is a Healesville player down here on the bell, which will take some attention, but Wandin hang on, 9-7-61 to 7-16-58. Goal kickers for Wandin, 3 to Jaworski, 2 to Atkins, 2 to Hodgett, 2 to Beckwith. So they had just the 4 goal scorers. Healesville, 2 to Newsom, singles to Warren, Barclay, Bradley, Donegan and Rouse. A terrific game of football. Healesville certainly feel that that's the level that they are capable of, but I guess the pleasing thing for them is that some of the other results have gone their way today, which basically keeps the situation as it is in terms of being half a game outside the 4 and still a chance to make it if they can take their chances over the final few rounds where they do have some interesting fixtures ahead. But it looks like Warrialic were going to get the job done over Monbog, and yes, they will, so that does keep them in the contest. We will wrap things up here from Healesville, where Wandin have just shaded the home side, 9-7-61 to 7-16-58. Terrific contest, but they moved to 14-1 without a couple of their main goal-scoring stars.